Just out of curiosity, if you did make this investment today, what's the worst that would happen? Would you be like homeless or like living under a bridge, eating out of soup cans, snatching purses? Like how bad will it get, man? They'll either say it's not.
If you've got a person who has that kind of attitude where you can joke around on them, really kind of poke at them a little bit about the price of the thing, then that's probably going to go swimmingly. If you have somebody who works in a corporate environment and they're having to deal with finance departments and stuff like that, then that's like, it isn't even their money. Like, no, they're not going to be homeless. They just aren't getting approval from finance. I don't know how well the joke's going to work. All right. Today we are reacting to TikTok sales advice, which, by the way, is probably one of the more dangerous places to get sales advice. I've seen none of these videos. My producer put these together. I'm personally a little worried. You probably should be too if you're getting advice from TikTok, but let's check it out and see if it's got some gems in it.
Hey Chad, oh my gosh, I just wanted to apologize. My last call went like 10 minutes over. We were talking for a while and there was like so much going on with onboarding him.
Ooh, that's a clever... This is interesting. So for those of you, and honestly, I almost made this mistake right now. First, you think to yourself, she's apologizing for no-showing, but it's the customer who no-showed. What is she doing? She's actually doing something pretty clever. Rather than shaming the customer around not showing up for the call, she's saying she couldn't have made it either. Like she actually was running late. So as if they both missed the call. This is kind of like your date no-shows, and rather than looking sheepish because they didn't have interest in you, you're like, oh, I wasn't even at the concert anyway. I couldn't have made it. So worked out perfectly that neither of us could make it. It's actually a clever way to try and re-engage with him. We're gonna see where she goes with this.
I just realized I completely blanked on our call. But I'm actually on the Zoom call right now, so if you have some time, we can pop back in, but I totally understand not having the full amount of time. Wait like 5 minutes and try to get them on that call. And if they don't show up, you say this. Another like voice memo or voicemail. Never a text. Hey,
yeah, agree, not text.
I really hope everything's okay. I really apologize for the call earlier taking so much time. What I can do for you, just because I feel a little bad, is I will reschedule this call for first thing tomorrow and carve out time to talk to you to help you solve XYZ.
This is a little tricky, because the guy no-showed. Optimally, what you want to do is you want to find a time it's most convenient for him, because obviously this time already didn't work. She's pegging a time that works for her in the following morning. There's a good side and a bad side of this. The good side, it shows that you're willing to block off some part of your day in the early morning so that no other person can book it. Like, that's clever. I'm guessing that's where she's going with this. The other part is that the idea that it's going to randomly work out for him the first slot in your morning is probably slim. I mean, I would very much advise you're going to want to look for a time that acquiesces to his schedule rather than one that acquiesces to yours. Let's see where she goes.
Goal before my other calls tomorrow morning. So I just saved that spot in my calendar so nobody books over it.
There you go.
And I plan on talking to you then, but let me know if that doesn't work for you and I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. And I would always recommend to have like that 30-minute time window at the beginning of every single call of your day.
That's great. Actually, that was not bad advice. Yeah.
Here's my favorite way to handle I need to think about it when I'm doing a sales call. I just say, yeah, man, it's no problem. How long do you think you need? They'll usually say something like a few days or a week. Then I'll say, you sure that's enough time, man? You want to take longer than that? You want to take 2 weeks, 2 months? We can take 2 years if you want. Kind of like make a joke about it, laugh, and they'll say something like, I think a week is cool. And then I'll say, just so I'm clear, do you need to think about the program or do you need to think about price? They'll say, oh, no.
That's important. The first part, I don't know. I've never tried it. It's a clever yes and. It's a clever way, like in any improv group, they're going to teach you to yes and stuff. It's a clever way to yes and it, and then you try to extend it to the extreme to make a joke out of it. The more important part is what he's getting at right now. Why do you want the time? What do you have to think about? Because maybe you can diffuse it right now on the call.
The program's great, it's just the price. And then I'll say, what do you like most about the program? They'll say, oh, I really like XYZ. And I'll say, how do you think XYZ will actually help you? What's happening is they're talking themselves.
Yeah, right now, he's reframing entirely. Coincidentally, they were about to bounce off the call saying they need more time. Now they're actually, basically, they're doing the selling. They're now pontificating on all the reasons why it would be good to move forward with you, right? Like, even though a minute ago, they were kind of focused on how do I get out of this call and get by some time to really think about it. So it's great. He's going to see if they can convince them to convince themselves back into the conversation.
Into it a little. Then I'll say that, okay, so you love the program. It's just the price. Just out of curiosity, if you did make this investment today, what's the worst that would happen? Would you be like homeless or like living under a bridge, eating out of soup cans, snatching purses? Like how bad will it get, man? They'll either say it's not.
if you've got a person who has that kind of attitude where you can joke around on them, really kind of poke at them a little bit about the price of the thing, then that's probably going to go swimmingly. If you have somebody who works in a corporate environment and they're having to deal with finance departments and stuff like that, then that's like, it isn't even their money. Like, they're not going to be homeless. They just aren't getting approval from finance. I don't know how well the joke's going to work. Depends if you're B2B or B2C, I guess.
Not that bad, and they'll actually kind of talk themselves into the sale. Or if money's something really tight for them, at that point, you offer them a payment plan. Usually, they'll be excited to hear about that, and
that's great. I mean, what you really want is solutions. Let's be honest. Trying to convince them that what they're concerned about shouldn't be a concern, I think that's a fool's errand. I think largely you want to actually give them credit for having a valid concern and then give them some solutions. Payment plan, discount, different billing terms. You're paying monthly instead of you're paying annually, contract negotiation terms, a 30-day money-back guarantee. I mean, there's lots of things you can do around price that actually address the concern rather than just minimize the concern or make fun of it, right?
Thank you for it, and you get to sell.
I'll give that a medium score.
Simply don't care. Walk in and just say, hey, I'm here for the 2 o'clock appointment. How's your day going? Good. Where are you guys from? And just start having a casual conversation. And instead of going, well, I'm with this company and we do this and we do this, and one thing that I think would be really, instead just change it to, yeah, so I know you guys were looking into technology, specifically in CRMs. I mean, I saw that you guys have grown into this channel.
Ooh, I love this advice. I gotta be honest, like, this is something that I really focused on when I first got into sales in tech. And he's talking actually about tech sales. He was talking about CRMs and stuff. And this is something that people frequently don't do when they get into tech sales. Frequently you get into tech sales and you're like, okay, I better be really buttoned up. I better come in professional. I'm with this company. We sell this solution. It does deploys like this. And we have a 30-day guarantee. Honestly, if you can have a casual conversation about what their issues are right now and how your platform can solve for those in a way that seems kind of friendly and conversational rather than like a salesperson, way better.
As far as the tech industry, what made you guys want to look into something different? It's a big change, and honestly, it's a lot to switch CRMs. What made you want to even do it? And just sit back and listen. And when you're subtle and you're indirect and you come across as an expert that just knows what they're talking about, but really doesn't care if they end up doing it, not only does it make them want it more, but it shows that you're someone that they can reveal tons of information to.
This touches on another point. Sales desperation. There's always a saying in sales, like, if you're doing badly, it's easier to keep doing badly. And if you're doing well, it suddenly becomes easier to keep doing well. And part of that is kind of the desperation you can give off. When they start detecting a customer, potential customer, that you really need this sale and you're pushing them into it, man, do they pull back. If you instead are able to at least present that you don't really need the sale, you're really more interested in their problems and how you can solve for that. That might be your solution, might be someone else's solution, but just tell me more about what you're experiencing. Way better, because now you become an advocate. And more than that, kind of what he's getting to right now, I think, you can become an expert. And let me tell you, if you can deliver value to someone on the call, like irrespective of whether they buy, just by informing them about stuff that you know, because you have knowledge in this space and they don't, then they're gonna take your call every time. Not just now, but when they go with that other solution that isn't yours and it fails, guess who they're gonna call? They're gonna call you, because you were able to talk to them about it before without being pushy.
Because you're simply helping them and you're guiding them down a path that they're not binded to, and they're not forced to go in a direction just so you can make a paycheck.
Fantastic advice. Hands down, I agree with everything he said.
You are losing sales and you don't even know why. You ever walk into a store and before you can take a breath, some salesperson lunges at you like a starving cheetah? Can I help you find something? And what do you say? No thanks, just looking. That's a lie. You came in to buy, but your brain instantly rejected the pressure. Or maybe you're selling online. You drop the perfect pitch and boom, the customer disappears.
Video production quality aside, so far he sounded a lot like the last guy, right? Which is good. Don't be pushy, right? That message lands.
On a Monday morning. Why? Because the human brain hates being sold, but it loves to buy. And if you don't understand that, you're burning money every single day. Here's how you fix it. Number one, the illusion of choice. Instead of asking, do you want this? Say what you prefer, A or B. The brain now focuses on choosing instead of rejecting.
Yeah, I mean, this is always a great one. If you can constrain their options to options that are both relatively good for you as a seller, that's always better. So let's say you offer multiple products. You're like, would you like this product or this product, both of which I happen to sell? Fantastic. That's gonna be a lot better than would you happen to like to go with us or a completely different competitor. Obviously, it's better to constrain their choices when possible.
Trigger number two, the power of certainty. Say most people go with this option. The brain follows the crowd. It's wired for safety. Trigger number three, the commitment.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say one caveat to that. I like saying that these kind of customers tend to go for this. I like defining the scope a little bit more than saying most people. Most people go for this. What I would say is, let's be honest, they always want to perceive themselves as an educated, sophisticated, whatever they do. So what I would typically say is like, hey, someone who's an elite level, insert occupation here, tends to prefer this plan because it has this features. Although a lot of the people just getting into it who aren't really trying to maximize by using these other features, they go with this stuff. What's their brain going to want to be? They're going to want to perceive themselves as a more elite level functionary in whatever their occupation is, and probably go with choice A over B. Same kind of theory though.
In effect, get them to say yes to something small and they'll keep saying yes. Ever wonder why Costco hands out free samples? Exactly. Selling isn't about pushing, it's about guiding the brain. Master this and your sales will skyrocket.
Those were great. I mean, I think a lot of people who've been in sales for a while are going to roll their eyes and be like, of course, like a yes ladder and all that kind of stuff are pretty known. But if you're just getting into sales, all those are great pieces of advice. I will say this, they were given very quickly and there's probably a lot more detail. There's a ton of sales books that explore each one of those concepts he just said, like an escalation ladder, constraining their choices, presenting certainty through a path, like here's what these kind of people do who are professionals, these are what non-professionals do. All of that, you can buy some wonderful sales books that really go deeply on each of those, as opposed to like a 1.5-minute TikTok video, but they're not wrong. None of this advice is wrong. And I'll be honest, going through 3 TikTok videos, I did not expect a 3 out of 3 in terms of them landing. Maybe that was 4 out of 4. One was a little iffy, but either way, I think I am pleasantly surprised by the quality of sales advice I've just seen out of TikTok of all places. Again, I'm not going to make that a global recommendation to learn to sell through TikTok, but I will say that either my producer or TikTok itself has some pretty decent sales advice on it. I was pleasantly surprised. If you loved me reacting to videos like this and some of the wackier videos I've reacted to in the past, please like and subscribe below, and I promise you we will do a lot more of this. Thanks.